Good morning, everyone. I am so sorry that you all are watching this pre-recorded video rather than being together. However, I will be taking some bereavement time for the next 2 days, so I'll be out Thursday and Friday, and then I'll hopefully see you all on Monday. All of you knew that my grandpa was struggling, and he has passed away today. So I will be out the next 2 days. I'm sorry that I am not with you all, and I hope you all have had a great day and a great week. And I again will see you on Monday. But for today's lesson, you do have 2.5. So you had just had your quiz and you have done factoring, vertex form, and standard form. And now we are going to keep going with solving. So remember, solving is when we are looking for the x-intercepts. So again, we're looking for the x-intercepts. So we're looking for what actually x is equal to. And today we're going to be learning a new format, a new way of solving, which is completing the square. So completing the square is what we're going to be learning today. This is what we would have done. You would have shared how you felt about the after the quiz. I do know that some of you did not finish, and I will be looking at that. So do not stress about that. I am still going to look at that. Do not look at your grades. They are not your current grades for that quiz. For 2.5, we are not going to be using the guided notes. Again, we are not using the guided notes. You're just going to need some paper out. So if you need to pause this video and get regular paper out, go ahead and do so. And let's go ahead and get started. So 2.5, again, is completing the square. And for day one, for today, we are just going to be focusing on a equals 1, which just means, remember, in our standard form, we have a times x squared plus b times x plus c. So for all of the examples today, a is just going to equal 1. So we have the list of steps that we're going to be doing here, and then the example here. So we're going to color code everything. You do not have to color code. I just find it helps some students, and so I do it just to help you as much as I can. So if a does not equal 1, divide everything by a. Well, I just told you that today we are going to be focusing on that a is 1. So this step is done. We don't have to do anything for the ones for today. We will use that step when I see you all on Monday. So then the next step is write the quadratic in the form x squared plus bx plus a little space equals c. So when we're solving, remember, we do want it to equal 0. So we are just going to have this equal 0. So we have 0 equals x squared minus 6x minus 2. And then now we're going to rearrange it, and we want this 2 on the other side. Let's actually just write this equals 0 on the other side so that it looks the same way as the equal sign on this side. So now we're going to get this constant, the c value, on the other side. So to do that, we're going to add 2 to both sides. And so then we have x squared minus 6x plus that blank spot. So I'm going to leave a little blank spot there, equals 2. So now it's in this format here. So now that one is done. And we go to the next step that says add b divided by 2 squared to both sides. So what is our b value? Our b is negative 6. So I'm going to be adding negative 6 divided by 2 squared on both sides. So I'll go ahead and write that here. Negative 6 divided by 2 squared. and then I have to add it to this side too. Negative 6 divided by 2 squared. So what does that equal? Well, x squared minus 6x plus negative 6 divided by 2 would be negative 3. So I'll write that over here. Negative 3 squared, which would equal 9. So this equals 9. So that's where this is coming from. And it's the same thing on this side. So we have 2 plus 9. So we've added that to both sides. So now we go to step 4, which is factor and simplify. So a really cool little trick to know is that whenever you factor this side right here, it's always going to be x, and then the sign in between is just going to be the sign here, so it's going to go down, and then it's the b over 2. So this right here, the inside of your parentheses, is what goes here. So this minus 3 is what goes here. So we just took this x squared minus 6x plus 9 and we factored it. So what multiplies to 9 and adds to negative 6? And it's x minus 3 both times. So like another way to write it, again, we were looking at x squared minus 6x plus 9, and we were looking at what multiplies to 9. So 1 and 9, 3 and 3, and we wanted negative 6. So it would be x minus 3 and x minus 3. And this is the same as just saying x minus 3 squared. And the whole process of completing the square is you're always going to have a perfect square binomial here. So this one right here. And then on the other side, we just add them. So 2 plus 9 would be 11. And then after that, the next step is solving. So when we're solving, we want to get rid of this squared. So we're going to take the square root of both sides. And when you do that, big note down here is every time you take the square root, you get a plus or minus. So here, we don't get the plus or minus just because it's canceling the squared. But on this side, this could be a positive or negative 11. So then with that, we have to solve it 2 different times. So we can have x minus 3 equals that positive 11, or we could get x minus 3 equals that negative 11. So again, we took the square root to get rid of this squared here. And when you take the square root, you get a positive and a negative. And then now we're just solving these 2 separate ones. So x minus 3 equals 11. So we would add 3 to both sides. So we would get x equals 14. Or add 3 here, add 3 here. X equals negative 11 plus 3 would be negative 8. So our solutions are x equals 14 or x equals negative 8. So there's that one. And then I do have some more practice ones for you, but if you need this one still, go ahead and pause the video and then go to the next one. Okay, so additional examples. What I highly recommend that you do right now is pause this video, try the first one, and then watch what I do. And then again, pause it and do the next one. Okay, so again, the first thing we look for is that the a is 1, which it is. So then we are going to rewrite it. So we're going to be subtracting 18 on both sides. So now we have x squared minus 10x plus that little space that we leave equals negative 18. Then we add b divided by 2 squared on both sides. So b is negative 10. So we have negative 10 divided by 2 squared, which would be negative 5 squared, which would be 25. So we're going to be adding 25 here and 25 here. Then we go to factoring it, and remember our little trick where the value right here goes right here. So minus 5 squared equals negative 18 plus 25 would be a positive 7. And then we go to solving. So take the square root, take the square root, and that gives us x minus 5 equals a positive or negative square root of 7. And then that means we have x minus 5 equals a positive square root 7, or we have a x minus 5 equals negative square root 7, which, by the way, I totally just realized that I just dropped this square root. So like all of this is not it. I'm so sorry. So square root on both sides still, and so these answers actually are, you add 3 to both sides still, but it would be x equals 3 plus the square root of 11, or x equals 3 minus the square root of 11. This would be your answer. I am so sorry. I just dropped that square root there. Okay, so let's go back. So the square root doesn't just disappear. So then you have these here, and you add 5 to both sides. So then we have x equals 5 plus the square root of 7, or x equals 5 minus that square root 7, and that would be your final answer there. So again, try the next one and then check your answer. I'm just going to pause my recording and do it, and then you can check your answers with it. All right, so then there's that answer. So go ahead and check your answer, and then I will go ahead and go over some things on Canvas. So if you need, pause the video if you need to. I'm going to go to Canvas now. Okay, so on Canvas, just a quick reminder that extra help is available, and so you could go to the Math Lab on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 3 to 4. That would be a great resource to get some extra help. And then if you go to Modules, and you go to Topic 2 Calendar, and so for the rest of this week, again, there is the PowerPoint that we would have gone over, and the notes key, and then the live video that I'm making right now will be linked right there, or the pre-recorded, excuse me, will be linked right there. And then you can start your assignment. So there's the 2.5 completing the square assignment. So you can do all of the ones where a equals 1. And then you also do have your first discussion, which is part of your integrated project grade. So you have time to start this, and then you'll also have time to look at this and get started. So the first discussion is under this discussions here, or you can click on where I just brought you, and you have 2 options. So this would be a great time because this video is 15 minutes. So you have plenty of time for the rest of the class to work on the homework, and also to do this option 1 or option 2 discussion. And if you have any questions, you can send me an email. Like I said, I most likely won't be responding this week, but I will get it first thing next week, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. I hope that all of you have a great weekend, and I hope this video helps. I know that I did make an error, and I'm sorry about that. I can't really edit it without redoing it all, and I just don't have time to do that right now. But I will miss you all. I know you all do great, and email me with any questions. Have a great weekend, and I will see you all on Monday.